With questions involving the overall structure of the text, you're essentially outlining the passage. You're sometimes with 2 items, other times 3 items. You're going to lay out, the first part of the passage does this, then the next part does this, and then the final part does this. In this case, we only have two things to flesh out. But in all cases, it should follow the order of the passage. So if we're looking at A, the first part of A should fit with approximately the first part of the passage, and then the second part of A should fit with the next part of the passage. There should be that kind of chronology. So let's read through this text and then see, bit by bit, we'll check each part of each choice one by one, and through process of elimination, we'll try to narrow down to an answer. So the historian and citizen of the Choctaw Nation has identified a dilemma inherent to research on the status of women in her tribe during the 16 and 1700s. The primary sources from that era, travel narratives and other accounts by male European colonizers, underestimate the degree of power conferred on Choctaw women by their traditional roles in political, civic, and ceremonial life. They argue that the Choctaw oral tradition and findings from archaeological sites in the tribe's homeland supplement the written record, providing crucial insights into these roles. So, what would outline or summarize the structure of this text? Let's look at the first part of each of these choices. A, it details the shortcomings of certain historical sources. That's not absolutely terrible. It's saying, look, the problem here is these primary sources, if you take them too uncritically, you will miss the fact that they have a biased view of Choctaw women's role in the society at the time. And so you have to, as the rest of the text goes on, you have to supplement this written record with other things. So I think that's not too terrible. You could argue the word details is maybe a little bit too specific. I don't know if we're detailing, that usually involves providing details. And I'll excuse it for now. Let's look at the rest of the choice. Then argues that research should avoid those sources altogether. So lucky for us, I don't need to worry about the details part because the rest of this is just really bad. The text does not say avoid these sources, don't use them at all. The text goes on to say we need to supplement them. We need to provide additional resources to get a fuller picture. So for that reason, we can get rid of A. It describes a problem that arises in research on a particular topic. Yeah, I think that's not bad, right? There's this dilemma inherent, and then they go on to describe the dilemma, so I think this is fine. Then sketches a historian's approach to addressing that problem. Yeah, this is this historian's approach. You have to use this oral tradition and archaeological findings to supplement the written record. That's how you deal with it. So B is actually looking pretty good. Each part of this not only is supported by the text, but it does follow the order, right? The first part of the text does introduce the problem, and the second part gives a suggestion about how you can address the problem. So I like B. It lists the advantages of a particular research method. I don't really see a list here. Like with the word detail, list is something very specific. You'd expect to see, first, second, third, fourth, or at least just a series of items. I don't see that here, and it's not advantages, so that's very wrong. The first part of this text is about how these sources are incomplete. It characterizes a particular topic as especially challenging to research. This is not quite fitting with the opening. I don't think it's focusing on the challenge of the research in general. It's focusing more on the problem with this particular set of sources. But again, we'll hold it. Let's see what else there is. Then suggests a related topic for historians to pursue instead. I don't see that. They're not saying, oh yeah, don't study this. Don't study women in this period in their tribe in 1600s and 1700s. Study something different. That's not where this text goes. So the one that best fits with what we read, that outlines this successfully, is choice B.